This is how I'm supposed to hold it, or this?
Relax. Relax. The way
Whichever way you need
yeah.
it, it's okay.
Yeah. Take it. 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for logging in for this webinar today. We are hosting this webinar from the Pearl Academy campus in Delhi. And I know that all of you must be neck deep in your board preparations and must be starving your distractions and feeling your focus. And while you do all this logging today, make sure that you fly out, you pass out with flying colors. And we have a lovely lineup of courses for you here at Pearl Academy, and all these lovely men and women sitting here with me will talk about these creative careers today. And that's what our webinar is all about. And so let me actually, without any more delays, introduce you to our lovely speakers. So here I have Nidhip with me. Hello, Nidhip.
Hi.
Hi. And Nidhip he heads the School of Design at Pearl Academy. Nidhip has studied in the US, and he has practiced as a successful architect in the US and has also taught at the School of Planning and Architecture. It'll be nice to hear what interesting courses and career options we have in design. So thank you so much. क्या हुआ?
We have to do it. Okay.
Running down goes on.
Do you want to, Himanshu, do you want to call that guy just to shoot from Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for logging in this webinar. This webinar we are hosting from the Pearl Academy campus in Delhi, and this webinar is all about careers in fashion, design, and creative business. I'm sure that all of you must be neck deep in your exam preparations. Make sure that you slog and pass out with flying colors because we have a lineup of some lovely plans for you with all these interesting and wonderful careers that we are going to talk about today. And I have with me some wonderful men and women from Pearl Academy who are going to talk about these careers to you. I am not going to waste any more time and introduce you to our speakers. On my left here is Nidip Mehta. Nidip heads the School of Design at Pearl Academy. Nidip has studied and practiced as a successful architect in the US for 30 years and has also taught at the School of Planning and Architecture. Welcome, Nidip, to this webinar.
Thank you.
And I think it will be great sharing some interesting insights on the careers in design, which is actually a big field growing every day. Yeah. I have with me the stylish man sitting here, Antonio Maurizio Brioli, who's the area head for School of Fashion and Styling at Pearl Academy. A former fashion designer himself in Italy, he has been actually in the area of fashion education for over a decade now, and he has taught in Europe and in Asia, and he has been in India for the last 1 year with Pearl. Welcome, Maurizio, and it will be lovely hearing from you on what the students are doing at Pearl Academy in fashion, and what is it that you have in store for all those students who would love to join the courses here in fashion and styling. I have with me this wonderful woman sitting here, Priya Mehta, Dr. Priya Matthew. Dr. Priya has been in the area of, has been teaching some lovely subjects. I got a chance to read your profile, and she has taught some wonderful subjects like online marketing, website designing. Now she heads the School of Creative Business at Pearl Academy, and she's actually known for some of the most innovative teaching methods that she brings to the table. I think it will be interesting to know because that creative business really sounds like a very promising field to me, unlike those boring MBA degrees which I have not ever pursued despite my mother's pressure on me to do that. I think the students would also love to hear on what are the interesting options that you have in that school for them. So let's start with you, Nidip. And when I was actually reading your profile, I saw something very interesting that you tried your hand at medicine. You did some bit of civil engineering before actually you landed up in design. I'm sure the students there also would be really juggling with all these options right now, and sometimes it also gets a bit difficult to prove to or to your parents that this is the right field that I'm pursuing despite the fact that it's new. So how did you kind of go about it in your head before you landed in this field, and how can you tell our students that it is a promising field to pursue?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did it the hard way. I spent time. Maybe I wasn't as informed of a student when I left high school. I thought I wanted certain things, but I think maybe the key is that there's certain types of learning styles that I'm more, familiar with, or that's easier for me to learn.
Sure.
I'm not such a good learner with textbooks and formulas and equations and that sort of thing. So when I was studying science and engineering, I find it's not that I wasn't smart enough to do it, but it was difficult for me to kind of learn that way. I found it boring. I like to learn in a more hands-on way, more creatively. So when I finally decided to do design and when I started did architecture, I found it just much easier. It was a lot of work, without a doubt. It was much more. In fact, it was harder than what I was doing before. But yeah, I totally understand. It takes some time to figure out what type of a learner you are. But I think many of our students are probably wondering, like, maybe I'm not into book learning, or I'm not into, a standard way of things, of a traditional educational system. And one thing that design does is it allows you to learn in a different way. It's fun, but you learn in a more creative fashion. And for me, I think I understand that what the students are going through. I mean, 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are applying to, different colleges, different programs. It's very difficult for them to decide, well, what type of a course this is, what type of. I think they focus on the kind of learning that you think would be best for you, and if you choose a design career based upon that, I think you'll be successful.
That's fine. So I'm sure so you are also spelling out that the teaching here at Pearl Academy in such courses and such fields is going to be more experiential led rather than very textbook.
Absolutely, that's 100%. I would even go so far as to say for a business,
Yeah.
we do it that way as well. We don't. We focus. I mean, are there books? Are there readings? Of course. There's always. We expect you to be literate and we expect you to read, but we absolutely have experiential learning. We work in even our classrooms are more like studios where you sit and you work hands-on. Even if you read something or learn something, research in it, you apply that. You don't just do it for the sake of just learning it. You learn it and you apply it. And that's how almost all of our teaching is being done.
That sounds very interesting, actually. So, Nitin, your calling was architecture, and so that's also maybe I think the most visible part of the design field. Would you want to tell us more about the career options available in design, and for young students who want to do something interesting in design? What are the other career options available?
I found that as an architect, that, everybody when they want to decide to when they join an architecture course, they want to become an architect. And actually, many architecture students who go into an architecture course end up doing many, many different things. And that's what design is becoming now. Design is becoming something which you may learn graphic design, you may learn communication design, interaction design, interior design, but you end up doing all of these things because the design education brings all of those things together. So with a little bit of more skills, I can become a graphic designer with a little bit of more understanding of certain things. So that's how designers practice today. And I think that's very, very important that you be open to, even if you choose to be an interior designer, you can choose to take a class or two in communication design or product design, because it's all interrelated. You become a designer. In fact, now I'm more and more less calling myself, I'm not calling myself an architect so much as I would like to call myself a designer, because it gives me that kind of ability.
Absolutely. And what is the scope of this field today in India? I mean, I keep hearing a lot of interesting terminology like UI and UX design, the way our technology and our phones are designed today. So there is a lot of design aspect actually infiltrating our lives every day. So what is the scope of this field today in India?
Well, see, design follows at a very basic level. You can say design is made for users, and in some way you can say it's made for consumers. Now, everybody knows that India has become a growing economic market and an economic power, and more things are being made here. More people are using things here every day. More and more members of our population are earning more money. They're using phones. They're using smartphones. They're using devices. They're wearing, taking more chances with the type of things that they do, the things that they wear, the things that they are doing every day in life, different types of products. So who's doing that? So are we going to continue to always just bring those things and import them from the West? No. In India, we have to have a culture of making things here, designing things here, and that is where the scope is, in my opinion. I mean, market here is huge. I'm not saying that you design always for a market only, but that's ultimately who's using the products and the services that you are designing. So design has a huge scope as long as people continue to keep, our income keeps growing, our market keeps growing, which it has been, and much better than the rest of the world in some way. And there'll always be a scope for design. A scope for good design, that's the key. And that it's important that it's because anybody can design anything. It's got to be designed right, so you have to make sure that you're getting a good design education, not just any design education. So that's important.
So how do you think Pearl actually gives a student that good design education that you're talking about? What is it? What is so unique about the experience of studying design here at Pearl, which you think actually makes for a good designer?
Well, what I like about Pearl, I've taught at different places, as you mentioned, but what I like about Pearl is that we are always keeping as much as we can up to date on what's going on, both in the industry, in terms of technology, in terms of different even ways of learning. Right now, exactly, we're looking at global marketplace. We have faculty from all over the world. And myself, I was raised in the U.S. So we are trying to make sure that we stay up to date with everything. And in fact, I don't think I've ever taught at an institution which was so intent on us changing and staying up to date as possible. Like we change things all the time, every semester, every year. We say, let's try to be more. Let's meet with the industry. Let's find out what's going on. Let's update our technology. Let's make sure that we are constantly changing. And I think that's an important thing. I mean, generations. Everybody knows that almost every 4 or 5 years, the generations are different. The students now are different than they were just a few years ago. So we have to adapt to that. And I think that I don't think I found a place so far. I will be absolutely honestly admit, I don't think I found an institution that is so willing to adapt to those changes than any other place.
So this dynamic nature, I think, really makes it much more flexible, and for students also a little more, interesting and fun, absolutely, at the same time. Just a request to all the students logged on into our webinar, do send in your queries, because I'll be taking them here from the phone and actually making these wonderful people answer all your questions. So moving on from Nidip, I would actually now like to ask Dr. Priya. So Priya, tell us about this whole interesting creative business as a field,
Yes.
and what does it really offer to the students?
See, we teach fundamentals of business, but for creative careers. So we have courses related to fashion business, luxury business, and PR and events. So what fashion designers and product designers or communication designers or spatial designers make. So they use their creative minds to create products, to create communication strategies, or apparel, or footwear, or eyewear. We help designers like them to make money. So once that idea is conceptualized in a tangible form, how to create a mass economy out of it, and how to sell it, how to create a business plan, and make money out of your concept. So we take care of that. The normal BBA or MBA courses, of course, the world requires them, because the organized part of economy, whether it is fashion market, whether it is FMCG or consumer goods, they all need generic management skills. But as far as creative products, creative ideas, and creative experiences are concerned, they need creative business managers. They need business men and women who understand the aesthetics, the style, the color, and how to sell the fashion or the design customized to the user. Because fashion and whatever we buy, which is design related, is heavily rooted to personal preferences and likes. So we begin with consumer behavior and we end with entrepreneurial spirit, we end with business plans. So we believe in creative economy, because India was the Sone ki Chidiya because of creative economy, and we want to nurture the creative minds, and we want to make that this creativity is sustainable. And for sustainability, we need the money as a tool. So that is what creative business is all about. So very clearly, we have 3 verticals. Number 1 is related to fashion business. Number 2 is related to luxury business, and third one is PR and events. And we are thinking of coming out with sports marketing also. So we believe in niche careers, and that is what the School of Creative Business is all about.
So that's wonderful. So a student actually designing something and actually designing some clothes can just hop across to the School of Business to really put a marketing strategy around it. That's very interesting.
Actually, something really interesting that we do across school is that we allow the students to have some we have kind of workshops when they reach the third year. So during this workshop, they either study something within their own department, or something really interesting that we have initiated recently is having extra department workshops. So a fashion student will meet with a design student, which will meet with a business student. So together they can actually come out with really, really interesting fun product, and then you never know, they might become business partner in the future.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. So you talked about PR and events. I think it's quite understood the careers they're in. You talked about creative business managers. So what are really these career options? If you can just list a few for the benefit of our students.
Yes. So, within the business of fashion, the three main careers are visual merchandising, product merchandising, and what we call retail merchandising. So we all buy fashion, and fashion is not just apparel. It starts with your eyewear to your cosmetics to your footwear, all of that. So so how do consumers buy these fashion products? And while a designer will design these products on paper, to make it a profitable business, we need product merchandisers to source the raw materials so that the raw materials reach the product manufacturers. So there is a long list of logistics management. And once they reach the manufacturers, the very thing, if you are making a white shirt or a bun color shirt, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Rajasthan to Assam, the sizing itself is a big mathematics to follow. So you can imagine the business mind which goes into it. So from color outlays to sizing to the silhouette, the detailing that goes into each garment. So a product merchandiser goes into that. A product merchandiser understands the fashion designer. A product merchandiser understands the interior designer. A product merchandiser communicates with the communication designer when the product merchandiser has to create that website. So we have product merchandisers working for, let's say, Marks and Spencer. We have product merchandiser working for H&M. We have product merchandisers working for Amazon. So right from retailing to online retailing, so they all need product merchandisers. The second career that I'd like to talk about is visual merchandising. So that is related to the way a store is laid out, whether it is interior or exterior. In common language, we all know a window display. But a window display is becoming a huge attraction point as far as fashion brands are concerned, because the moment you enter a mall, where the consumer's eyes do get attracted, that matters. So there is a lot of competition out here. And the last one that I'll talk about is retail merchandising. Retail merchandising, you get jobs such as category management, or you store manager, or the CRM, that is customer relationship manager. So within a store, there are a lot of business processes which needs management. So that is related to the business of fashion. Similar careers are available even for managing the luxury brands. But luxury is luxury. When you have celebrities like Priyanka Chopra coming into your store or Amitabh Bachchan coming to your store, the CRM principles, the marketing principles all change. The product itself has a luxury design. So in our luxury courses, what we teach in the styling, aesthetics, or marketing mix is completely customized to that industry. That is the difference between creative business or school of any other business. The amount of embedding of industry knowledge that we do, and I can vouch that even for the other schools, is top class, because we believe that we are nurturing future citizens for economy, whether it is industry or whether it is entrepreneur. So that's what I like Nidhir said, no 2 semesters are same. Every year, every month we are changing, because all our assessments are industry related, and industry is changing every season. So that is what we offer.
That's quite interesting, actually. I mean, I think a person who's both left-brained and right-brained is this is the
Absolutely.
best course to
Yeah.
have that combination. So Maurizio, coming to you. So fashion, Pearl Academy has quite a legacy when it comes to the school of fashion, the most glamorous and visible career across. So why don't you talk about the school of fashion?
First of all, yes, we are renowned for the glamour, but fashion is not just the glamour. It's actually quite tough subject. What we do really interesting. I mean, I've been teaching for about 7, 8 schools between Asia and Europe. But what we do differently here is that, as Nadine said, we don't build a fashion design. First of all, we build a design. Then we skill that designer with whatever skills is required, whether to do fashion or to do product or styling, etc. etc. So this is something really interesting that we do differently than other schools. Something else that differentiates us from the market is, as Ria has been mentioning a couple of times, the relationship we have with the industry.
Absolutely.
In fact, we are part of the FDCI. This year, our students, we have around 800 graduates. We'll showcase during the Amazon Fashion Week. Actually, Amazon is giving us a unique day the full day where all our students have the opportunity to display their work. As well as fashion within the fashion school, we also have.
You mean the Amazon Indian Fashion Week
Amazon
where all the
Indian Fashion
designers
Week, where all the designers
Oh,
display,
wow,
we are
that's
part of that.
So the students would be also
The students will
showcasing.
showcase in there, and something really good that we do with FDCI is that every month we have senior designers coming to school, either in our Jaipur campus or in Mumbai campus or in Noida or in Delhi itself. And they have a day class with our students where they talk about design process, where they talk about design language. So the students get to have a really hands-on experience in terms of fashion. And it's not just what we say, and they can see that what the industry requires. Also, we do have senior designers who are helping us to improve or to upgrade our curriculum every 6 months almost.
Okay.
So,
So tell me, Maurizio, fashion designing, okay, so that's what I really know fashion for. But is there anything else that I can explore beyond fashion designing? Are there any other career options which students would want to pursue?
well, the fashion space itself, it's pretty big. Within fashion design, you can either be a fashion designer, as you said, but you can also be an illustrator. You can be a pattern maker. You have many different jobs that you can pursue. But I want to say that as well as fashion design within under the School of Fashion, we also have courses like fashion styling, which is I mean, it's been there forever, but recently it's becoming more and more popular. So during that course, we teach students how to create images, how to advertise what the designer have created. As well as that, we have this course called Fashion Media Makeup. So basically, within the fashion school, we do offering students lots of opportunities in terms of career, and we skill them in what the industry requires.
So fashion designing, illustrator, pattern maker, fashion media maker. I also read on your website there is something called styling. Would you want to talk us through that styling course and what is it all about?
Sure. So the styling course, basically, when the designer designs the garment, a stylist is there to mix and match the right garment to create the right looks. So that's what pretty much the job is all about. Now, it is important for a stylist to understand skin tones, to understand body shapes, so that when they are advertising during a campaign, let's say someone's collection, they will get the best out of it and make sure that the collection will become sellable so that we move the product to what Priya students are working on, basically.
That's interesting. So, guys, tell me something that what is it so unique about Pearl? So, apart from the fact that there is so much industry coming on the campus, the fact that the curriculum is very flexible and dynamic, taking care of the industry needs and demands, what kind of experience does a student really get on the campus? Because I'm sure that when you get out of the disciplined life of a school, you also look forward to something more interesting in your college life. So, What is it, that unique experience which brings in fun, which brings in learning, that the students get here?
I will say something. Yes, the industry is coming to us, but we keep proving ourselves good to the industry. We've been winning the India skills, world skills. So top three students are our students. Recently, Walmart, which is an Australian brand, have launched for the first time competition among students. So we took part of that, and we got 2 prizes out of it. So we keep proving ourselves to the industry, as well as industry coming to us. We actually go into the industry. Something that we do differently than other schools is that we following our students from day one to actually even when they finish with us. So we take really good care of our alumni. We have a CRD department who offers them lots of possibility in terms of employment. And one of the events that we recently started is once every month, together with Pullman Hotel, which is part of Novotel chain. We're organizing with them something called the Fashion Branch. So during this event, we invite buyers, we invite bloggers, we showcase alumni's collection, and then we offer the alumni the possibility to interact one-to-one, to potential client, to interact one-to-one with buyers and bloggers and so on. So we offer them good platforms that I never experienced in any other institute I've been teaching before.
That's interesting. So they get to showcase their collections at the Pullman Hotel in a branch.
Yes.
The Amazon India Fashion Week, I think nothing can get bigger for any fashion student but to showcase at that Fashion Week. What about the students of School of Design and Creative Business? Do they also get such platforms to showcase their work to the industry and to the people?
Yeah, in fact, what we like to do a lot of is live projects. In all three of our verticals: interiors, communication, and product industrial design. We try to partner with certain industry, big names, also small names. For example, we recently did a live project with Steelcase. Steelcase is a high-end furniture manufacturer, and they're known all around the world. They make some of the best office products, office furniture, and they wanted to explore new ideas in workplace design. So they worked with our product design students to kind of look at because workplaces are changing every day. I mean, almost every year, someone has come up with a new idea of how people work in the idea of a traditional office setup is no longer there.
Absolutely.
So furniture should respond to that demand. Do people work in open office plans or closed office plans, issues of privacy? So a company like Steelcase wants to come in and do a live project with us. They want our students to come up with new ideas, which then potentially they will take forth and make into their product lines. So like that, we have other industries as well. We did a competition, a project with Jet Airways for their airline cabin utensil. So it's like even just everyday products that people use. So they wanted to change their kind of way that the utensils and everything are. So things like that. Interior design. We're working. We are members of the Triple ID, which is the largest industry association for interior design, and we're trying to we work with them very closely in terms of getting notoriety for the very Indian traditional interiors, in terms of like using craft-based technologies, using the existing crafts industry of India that designs furniture, that designs decorations or decor, plus traditional Indian construction techniques, vernacular the construction techniques which are sustainable, which are related to healthy ways of living. So our students, they learn that, they work and they go about and for example, they go on study trips to villages and cities all over India to learn about the, so they learn how to do masonry, how traditional masonry has been done for 5,000 years up until now, ancient as well as new techniques. So they'll learn about these techniques to see how do you, build these construction techniques that we have been doing for many, many years. Maybe the whole world doesn't even know about how we do things very traditional Indian ways as well as modern ways. So our students go out into the field. They go out on study trips and they learn about all these different. Plus the cultural. India is such a diverse. Everybody knows. I think that India is such an incredibly diverse country culturally. So every corner of India has a different way of living and doing things.
Yeah.
So designing a kitchen in Bengal as opposed to designing a kitchen in Tamil Nadu is very, very different because of the cuisine and the cultures and the rituals that they have. So this is what we ask our students to do, like do in-depth cultural research and so understand how people live, how people use the surroundings and the environment and the products that they use every day. So this is that level of richness that is there in design. We want to make sure that they don't just design very superficially. They design based upon a good, solid context. And that's true for, all of our schools are doing that as well. Research is a very strong part of what we do in everything that we're doing. And I think that the key for us, I think if you ask me, like, what is it that we're trying to focus strictly on what is Indian, but not necessarily what is not being nostalgic about, in India. Not like, living in the past. India is a fast-moving country. It's moving quickly in a certain direction, which we don't really know exactly where that is. So neither do we want to do exactly what the Western, trends are doing, nor do we want to just sit in the past. So we want to kind of combine those two things and come up with a new identity for the way that Indians live and the way that they, especially in terms of making sure that all members of Indian society are included in that. Designing things for the poor as well as the rich. Designing things for disabled people, so that designing things for making people healthy and staying healthy. So these are the things that we are very strongly focused on. I think it's very important.
Would you want to talk about how students of creative business get to showcase?
You have asked a question, and that's the responses that we gave us to that question. What is it that is different in Pearl Academy?
Yeah.
So if you look around, so we have an American returned Indian, we have an Italian Indian, and just before the webinar started, Antonio just told us that he's just 7 months old in Pearl Academy, but the amount of value that Antonio has given to not only to his school but to all of us, it is immense. And I've been at Pearl, or I know Pearl for last 11 years now, and I'm a thorough Indian. So to get this recipe, that is what Pearl Academy is all about. I can definitely talk, and you've been a product of Pearl Academy, Neha. So all four of us, despite of our roles, we also are students. All three of us, being whatever heads that we might be, three of us are constantly learning. So if you are a part of an academia where even the heads treat themselves as students, and I can say that even for my CEO, so if learning is the attitude of that academia, you can imagine the amount of nurturing that this place is harvesting. It is a fertile land for any mind to grow and to produce more. So that is one. Now coming back to School of Creative Business, my teachers have won a pedagogical award in FICCI Education Summit, where they showcased both the first prize and the second prize. Sorry, the second prize and the third prize came to Pearl Academy, where they showcased how international students and Indian students collaborated together and learned together. What else would you like to have? So this is a place where you can come and become a global citizen because you have a global fraternity of teachers. So that talking about faculty, my students are also not way behind. Students for last 4 years have been winning something called James Mcgaha Award, which is a $50,000 US dollar feeding money to a business plan. So 4 years ago, the plan was exactly what Nidip was saying. We not only teach for corporate, or for rich, but even for the poor. So this student created a business plan to create fashion clothing for mentally challenged people.
Wow.
And last year the student won the third prize because he worked on a business plan to revive Pashmina shawl manufacturing in Kashmir. So, and that business plan was showcased in front of 80 international delegates. So where else do you get it? I'm sure it happens, and in some places, and we belong to that niche space of mind nurturers. That is what this Pearl Academy is all about.
I also want to, if I can just add, I want to mention that one of the unique things about us is that as members of Laureate International University, which is a global collaboration of many, many different colleges all over the world, what I love about Pearl, I've said this many times, is that we are a private institution, obviously. We're not a government college. We have a profit motive, obviously. We're here to make money also. But the best thing about it is that we focus only on education. Our parent company, Laureate, is only involved in education. We're not involved in any other industries. We are not a part of, some massive industrial portfolio. We are solely dealing with education and trying to make societies and countries all over the world better for everybody. And I have to say that I really feel that in everything that we're doing, when we work with our parent organizations, when we share and we collaborate with our other laureate institutions, we take advantage of that. Everybody is here to educate and to learn. We're all, echo exactly what you said, we are all here to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So Priya took some very interesting names of companies that the students get to work with: H&M, Marks and Spencer, Louis Vuitton. I would just want to quickly hear from the three of you, from Priya has listed, from Maurizio and from you, Nithin, on what kind of companies do really come, what kind of profiles do students get to work in, and then we quickly go on to the questions that the students are sending us.
See, in our case, we don't really have a limitation in terms of companies, because as we've been saying, we are pretty much international, so we can facilitate platforms in Europe, as well as we can facilitate any designer house that they would like to approach within India. We do have, as I said, we are partners with FTCI. We are also partners with another company called RAI, which hosts more than 200 companies, and we have a strong legacy with Levi's as well. So there is no limit in terms of who they would like to approach. Within a 4-year course, they're able to shape themselves in whichever segment of fashion they would like to work for. And then we facilitate them to either we understanding what skills the student has and direct the student or mentor the student for the right designer to work with. Or sometimes the student comes with their own wish, and then we just make sure that we fulfill the wish. In fact, they do go for an internship during their level 2. So this is when the student actually decide how do they feel, whether they want to be a menswear designer, whether they want to be a women's wear designer, whether they want to do ethnic, ready to wear. We give them plenty of opportunities. So it's really much up to them to understand. We here to help, helping them make the right choice, basically. But in terms of companies, we have no limitation, I would say.
So I also saw that a lot of students actually want to go and set up their own shop.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true of all the businesses and the career options we are speaking here. So how does Pearl really train them to start their own enterprises, and how do you really ensure that they get the right support from the faculty here, and how do you really mentor them in that regard?
Yeah, before I answer that question, I want to say that at least for the School of Design, most of our graduates, as you very rightly said, they tend to forego going to work for a big corporate. We do have students going to IBM. I just hired some of our students. Godrej hires our students every once in a while. Dorling continuously has hired our students, big advertising agencies. So we do have these big international corporates that are hiring our students. But for the most part, our students tend to they may work for small designers, small boutique shops where people shop. When I say shop, I don't mean a shop. I mean a store. I mean a studio. And they tend to work for people where they can get actually a wide range of experience immediately right away. When you work for a small design firm, you get to be part of all aspects of that.
Absolutely.
So we focus on getting our students aligned with small design firms, good award-winning design firms, so that they can get a breadth of experience in a very short period of time. Because what happens is that our graduates, even when they work for a design firm and they work in a job, design is one of those things where you kind of want to do your own thing. You know?
Absolutely.
So you want to kind of get your kind of name out there, your design goals out there, your aspirations. So very quickly, our students starting their own business. Some of them start right after graduation. Some of the more capable ones, as soon as they graduate, they set up their own practice, and that's great. So what we do is we try to prepare them for that. We give them some entrepreneurial training. We explain to them how to run their own business. We prepare them for life skills. We tell them how to write contracts, how to even in the School of Design, we're not in the business school, but we have to assume a certain amount of business skills and business planning. So we make sure that they learn about those things as much as possible. Entrepreneurial skills are very, very important.
What happened?
Calm down. Because I wasn't ready because you're using his phone.
Then you have to start from there.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
We say thank you. That was you, but you can now do the questions. So you can say now this is the question answer round.
Okay.
And then I've sent this to you now.
So what this toll-free number I have to call on the
So I
screen?
didn't stop. Oh, I thought we'll do it from this camera,
No,
but yours is also not set up. Okay, anyways, we can go to.
Toll-free number?
What toll free number?
We continue. Okay, now बोलो कि question and answer section देखो यहाँ पे.
Okay.
What, man?
This has to improve.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. 2,000 people have already seen you. Yeah.
That's good. That's why
We know the problem. They would
They're
not
okay.
know it's a problem.
Just the thing of creative business में लगाओ. आधा घंटा उसका चल गया, आधा घंटा इसका.
Right.
Welcome back, guys. And we have just had an interesting round of conversation on the various career options. What kind of experiences do students get here at Pearl, which really makes them what Priya was calling a global citizen. The fact that Pearl is actually like a melting pot of people from various countries and which really actually adds value to a student's experience. And very interestingly, we were just signed off with Nidip telling us that how, besides the fact that Pearl can talked about this 97% employability rate, the fact that students are also given critical training in skills, life skills, which can actually help them become entrepreneurs and not just people who work with employers. Interesting. So now we will actually take a few questions which our students have been sending us, and one of the first questions that I've got from Sonali is, which course is better, architecture or interior design?
Good question. Well, it depends. Architecture is a more technical course. In India, there's a requirement that you have physics, chemistry, math, and it's science. It's meant more for science students. So if you're more geared towards a highly technical course, it's also a 5-year course. If you're willing to kind of go through the whole 5 years, then I would say architecture might be for you. Remember, architecture also is dealing with the entire building, the building landscape, whereas interiors deals with the spaces inside. Interiors is obviously a shorter course. It does not require maths. It does not require a science stream. It's open to any student. In fact, we would like to get as many students as possible because I think interiors is about how we use space, not just how the building looks, from outside or how it functions. It's about how we use the space. And think about it. We spend most of our time inside buildings, not outside looking at buildings.
That's true.
So we have to make sure that we understand the human environment. So it's a little bit smaller scale. So if you like to work in more detail, I would say interior design is better for you. If you like to think about space and how you're using it, if you like to deal with, there's an overlap with furniture design to some extent. So I would say if you're focused more on less technical and more about the interior space and functionality, then I would say that. But if you're focused on something that's a little bit more science related, more technical, I would say architecture. And if you can, if you really do 5 years of the course, then that's it. But yeah, but architecture also is you get registered as an architect. And interior design, as of now, anybody can practice interior design. So that's also possible.
So Ronak Chaudhary has asked us a question that what are the options for students to go and study in London and study abroad, and what kind of international experience does Pearl offer? So if you can just...
Nidhi probably would be the best one to answer that, because
have
students have actually got accepted to do Parson, I think you were saying.
Yeah,
So,
Parsons, Pratt, Domus,
we do have a strong connection with Italy, as well as with UK. In fact, we had some students actually coming from Manchester Metropolitan in our Jedburgh campus for one of our courses, and they were very excited. So in terms of internationality, we can actually educate them to pursue their studies anywhere they like in the world.
Super. And there is another question that I have from Usha, and she's asking, what job opportunities are there after doing interior and architecture designing?
So most of our interior students, they tend to go work for architects who are doing interior projects. But increasingly, we're finding that our interior design students are looking at careers, for example, in set design. So many of us, we have students working in Bollywood right now, designing film sets, television sets. We have students who are working for event planners who are designing. Right now, I think everybody knows, like, wedding planning is becoming a huge thing. It's so elaborate weddings are happening. So people are designing the stage sets and the kind of all the events for that as well. So a few of our interior designer graduates are doing that. Their exhibition design is another thing. So things that, for example, these large exhibitions and art exhibitions or fairs and shows, they also are being done. So those are the temporary type of installations, right? But for the most part, our students are working. I mean, you can go work for a hotel chain. You can go work for, let's say, ITC or a Hyatt and become their in-house designer.
That's interesting.
And whatever their brand is, their image is, that you kind of make sure that all of their hotels have that same image, down to the the kind of furniture they use in their guest rooms, down to the lobbies and everything. So we have that. But I would say the majority of our students, our graduates, are working in proper design firms, interior design firms or architecture firms.
So there's an interesting question that I have for you, Maurizio, from Anurag, who is asking that I read on your Facebook that students from Pearl Academy actually went to assist Rahul Mishra in the Paris Fashion Week. What is the criteria of being selected in that event?
Okay, first of all, you should be a good student.
Yes, we really
That's
should.
not the criteria. I would say we actually have. Rahul Mishra actually, we have a very good relationship with Rahul Mishra. Is coming to actually teach to our students almost 2 times or at least once a month. And something he has proposed us is to take our students to the Paris Fashion Week, so that they can experience what is happening internationally within the world of fashion. So we do have about 5 best students selected across our 4 campus, which goes within in Paris, and they go through the whole process. So they start in India, they understand what collection will be showcased in Paris, why we will showcase that collection in Paris, and then in Paris itself they will have backstage, and they'll have the opportunity to take part of the Paris Fashion Week. But the only criteria is you have to be a good student.
Super. And another question coming your way is, what is the difference between 1-year diploma in fashion designing and the 4-year UG pathway course?
Okay, we don't have just 1 and 4. In between, we also have 2 years course. Well, a 4-year course will build a student to be a designer.
Yeah.
Within 1 year, you will be able to have a good design aptitude. You will be able to sketch a garment. But I wouldn't say 1 year will equip you with the same skills that obviously you will be equipped within 4 years of course. We do have something interesting in between, which is 2 years, which is a postgraduate course. That's open to any student who already had graduation in any other field. And within this 2-year course, we actually trying to build what we call it creative head. So the student is able to direct, let's say, be the creative director of a fashion label or his own label. So I would say the 1-year course is most probably there for those students who would like to have just their own small boutique. So they're able to explore either women's wear or men's wear, but obviously it's in a very limited, restrict the way where within 4-year course, obviously the amount of knowledge you get, the experimentation you do with different briefs, the skills within pattern making and sewing, it's much more intense.
So someone has asked a question, Priya, and that is Kushbu. And Kushbu is asking us that after one pursues a course in creative business, what are the options available to that person to go and work or study abroad?
Yes, very much there. We have students who have done undergraduation either in luxury brand management or fashion and lifestyle business management. They have got admission in LCF, London College of Fashion. And the course is Masters in Fashion Management. They have got admission in Central
St. Martin's.
St. Martin's, yeah. So they've got admission there. They have one of them even got invited in IIM Ahmedabad, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So it all depends upon the portfolio that the student would have created while being in Pearl Academy.
That's interesting. I would just like to tell the students that you can just also get all other doubts clarified on, and if you visit our website, you can also call our toll-free number mentioned there and call us in case of any queries or doubts. Apart from that, you can also book a meeting with the counselor here at the campus to get to know in details about the course that you want to take up. So quickly, in one line, I would want the three of you to sum up that what is the most special or the most interesting thing that you can actually tell a prospective student to kind of look forward to at Pearl Academy, like in one line.
Please, somebody.
I would say in one line, that's especially for me. No, I think, look, if you want to do something different with your life, if you want to follow a different path than everybody else, then I think we are one of the people that can help you do that.
Yes, yes.
That's actually what we're all about.
Yeah.
And if you want to convert your dream into reality, then Pearl Academy is the place. Because we are full of mavericks and we welcome mavericks.
So volunteer.
And then it might be somebody. I mean, we have all the platforms, all the connection to really make sure that these guys one day become somebody.
That's absolutely brilliant. I think that was a lovely conversation with the three of you, and I wish I could go back in time and join some of these interesting courses here at Pearl Academy. So thank you so much, everybody, for logging in and listening to us. Let me tell you that the applications are now opened at Pearl Academy. The last date of application is 16th of January. So please send in your applications and do call our toll-free number in case you have any queries. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Talk about crisis management now. What's your engagement?
I know yourself from the then